Is that about the length you wanted?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a little bit condense it.
I probably won't say.
You want to say how long this has been going on?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, so go ahead and look at me and tell me what the art walk is all about.
The Boylan Heights Art Walk is really a unique Raleigh tradition going on now for 21 years. And it's unique because it showcases local artists in a historic neighborhood. Artists set up on porches and in lawns, and really it's a great way to get the holiday season underway.
Let me have that one more time.
Okay.
This is a different idea, tighter. Okay. What is the art walk all about?
The Boylan Heights Art Walk is a unique Raleigh tradition going on for 21 years now, where the Boylan Heights neighborhood hosts artists in a historic setting, on porches and in lawns, for people to really get in the holiday spirit. Well, I like to say it's volunteers though. Volunteers. The Boylan Heights Art Walk, going on for 21 years now, is a unique Raleigh tradition in that it hosts artists on porches and in lawns in a historic Raleigh neighborhood, Boylan Heights, and it's completely run by volunteers. A great way to start the holiday season. Okay.
Tell me a little bit about the artists that come to this show.
The majority of the artists, well, we have artists that live in Boylan Heights, so there are studio artists throughout the neighborhood, and also artists from throughout the area, and even a few from out of state come to participate in this show and showcase their great art. It's a juried show, which means that the artists are specifically selected to be here.
So let me get that comment again. So let's start out with that.
Art Walk is a juried show, which means that all the artists are individually selected to be here. They come primarily from Raleigh and the Wake County area, but we also have artists from throughout the state and even a few out-of-state artists.
Very good.
Art Walk is now in its 21st year. It was started as a small neighborhood event and it's grown over time as Boylan Heights has really increased as a creative area for Raleigh.
We do one more, but just so it doesn't get dated, let's just say, it's been going on for over 20 years.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
The Boylan Heights Art Walk has been going on for over 20 years now as a unique event showcasing a creative neighborhood here in downtown Raleigh.
All right. No, you can go by. You can
Go
by.
on. No, go on.
Okay. Okay. Tell me who you are and what it is that you do as a host.
Oh, okay. I'm Deborah Ross, and my husband and my husband Steve Wren and I live in this house, and we have hosted artists for Art Walk for at least 10 years. And being a host basically means that you have to clean up your yard and make sure your porch is accessible. And we've had all sorts of different people who have shown their wares on our porch. The woodworker who's on our porch today, Bob, has been on our porch for several years. So we have a special relationship with Bob and we know how he likes to set up. But we've had jewelry makers, we've had people, metal artists, all sorts of different kinds of people who have either been on our porch or been in our front yard. And so on the first Sunday after Thanksgiving, usually, unless the weather's bad, what we do is we open up the neighborhood and open up our porches for artists to sell their wares and for people to be able to buy local for Christmas. How's that? I'm Deborah Ross, and this is my home with my husband, Steve Wren. He actually did most of the things to make it such a wonderful place. And for the last 10 years, we have been hosts for Art Walk, which means that we have artists who are on our porch and sometimes in our yard selling their wares when our neighborhood shows itself off for the holidays. And so people come and buy local off our porches, and they support artists and support the neighborhood, and it's just a wonderful way to celebrate the neighborhood, support local artists, and have the community come out and buy their Christmas presents. How's that?
When does the art walk usually occur?
The art walk occurs, the scheduled date is the first Sunday after Thanksgiving weekend. Twice it's had problems for inclement weather. So this year we canceled the art walk because it was such a horrible day last Sunday. And that was a smart thing because it's 50 degrees and sunny today and more people will come out. That's better for the artists because clearly they need to sell things to support their creativity and their families and their industry. And it's also better for people because they can buy local and have something special, something unique for the holidays for their friends and family.
Okay. I'm going to get you.
And tell me how the art walk gives it a sense of community for Boylan
absolutely.
Heights.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fine.
Okay. And then look at Jeff and just go into it.
All right.
With me.
Yes.
All right, tell me.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Dunbar, and I live here in Boylan Heights, and I love the art walk. I helped organize it from the very early years in the early 90s, and since then I've been a host, I've been an exhibitor, I have organized, I've been on the committee all that time, and my whole family looks forward to it every year as we welcome our whole community to our home and to our neighborhood, and we really love Boylan Heights Art Walk.
Very good. Shorten it a little bit.
Yes, I can.
You ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Dunbar, and I'm a resident here in Boylan Heights. I've been involved with the Boylan Heights Art Walk since the early 90s. Not the originator, but an early supporter. I've worked on the committees, organizing, exhibiting, hosting, and every year our family welcomes the art walk to our neighborhood as we welcome the whole community.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so over 20 years ago, there was,
Start again, boys.
over 20 years ago, we started artwork because there were 7 people in the neighborhood. Actually, there were just a few people in the neighborhood.
To not look at the camera.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll start it again.
All right.
I have a little trouble. I just had cataract surgery, and
light?
the light is really difficult for me. Okay,
Okay.
that's all right.
Maybe you can stand right here. You might be able to block it.
Block the light. It's all right. Okay,
All right,
so
hang on one second. No, that's it. I got a shadow.
yeah.
Okay. So turn your body a little bit towards straight. There you go. Just parallel.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. You cool with that shot? Yes. That's good. It's mine.
Ready? Okay, so 20 years ago there were a handful of artists who live in the neighborhood, and they came to me and said, wouldn't it be fun to do something to help us sell our things? And I said, well, why don't we do an art walk? Why don't we do it on people's porches? We've got these great porches in this great neighborhood, and would be kind of fun. And that was 20 years ago, and it's still going on, and it's a great way to show off this community and these old houses, and also to get people to understand what artists are doing. It's a chance for people to meet artists as well.
The only thing I would say is that
Again.
all right, so square your body up to me, okay?
Okay, so we started Art Walk back in the day, a long time ago, and with just a handful of artists, 7 artists actually, several of whom lived in the neighborhood, and we thought what a great way to show off this neighborhood and these great porches and get people to go out, walk around, buy local. Although buying local wasn't a thing at that time, we made it a thing. I'd like to think that Art Walk made buying local a thing for the area, and it was a great way for the community to work together, support the artists who lived here, and to also get to meet their neighbors.
So, can I ask you, do
Sure.
you have like another minute or two?
Sure,
Okay, all right.
absolutely.
Let me ask you, let me set you up and then,
Sure.
okay, so, back in the day, I never thought
Back in the day, I never thought it would grow this big to over 100 artists. I never thought that it would be one of the best shows in the area. I never thought that we would have so many amazing artists. This year we had over 200 artists apply to be here, which is kind of astounding given that we started with 7.
the sense of community this gives.
gives a great sense of community. You know, we also, kids get involved, and a number of kids who started off as artists in the art walk have gone on to do artistic things, to become architects, to become musicians, become things, other types of artists. And there's also a sense of support, you know, that this is a community that supports the people who live here. And I think originally that was what our thinking was show your support for the people who live here. And let's support, you know, if an artist lives in this neighborhood, let's buy their artwork. And if a good baker is in this neighborhood, let's buy their baked goods. Let's be very proud of who's here and say, this is somebody from my neighborhood. And it's a lot of fun in my house. I can go through my house and say, you know, I bought this at the Art Walk, and this artist lived in Boylan Heights, and this artist has become more famous. And I knew this artist when it was the first year they came to Boylan Heights, and it was, for many, many artists, this is the first show they ever do. And a lot of these artists have gone on to much bigger careers than just the Art Walk, but they always come back because it's one of the best shows.
That's good. I think you got it.
Good.